I've been coming to this place called Marcahuasi for the last 35 years. My family's been very interested in it for many years. We're looking at the geology of the place. We're looking at georeferencing some of the structures. They've been given a variety of names, but the reality is we don't really know if they're structures that are made by man or even modified by man, or they're just purely natural.
Good view. We are now 4,000 meters high over the ocean in the plateau of Marcahuasi. About 60 kilometers that way is Lima, and it's really steep to come here.
Have you heard the one about the artist, the organic chemist, and the geoscientist? You know, that pretty much sums it up here. It's very interesting because being part of this research team, all of the Ruzos, you know, we're all coming back to continue my great-grandfather's work. He wanted to do the georeferencing, but he didn't have the tools available to him at the time. So we're really, you know, picking up where he left off and completing it to a degree that he couldn't have imagined with Google Earth and everything.
The first news that this place existed outside the regional population was a photograph taken by a Japanese traveler. He was friends with a friend of my father's, and my father always having been interested in Asian cultures. His friend gave him a photograph of the main structure here, which is called a Bekagasha, which is very much apparently a human face that can be seen from different angles with different profiles.
Llegamos arriba. Oye, me dice, a esa piedra dame llegar. Era el monumento de la humanidad. Es bien claro, pues. Llegó a la piedra, la abrazaba, le besaba. Uy, casi hace loco, ¿verdad? Qué bien, Manuel. Esta es una maravilla, una maravilla.
He actually started looking at the rest of the stones on the northern side of the plateau, became convinced that human intervention had taken place, was never able to prove anything beyond the beauty of the place and the possibility that there was some type of artwork involved.
In Marcahuasi, we have a huge plateau with thousands of figures that would be for the ancient man a perfect example of how nature would be alive. This is like a theater, because you have many symbols, as this big stone is the most important of all. And now in the other side, we're going to go around, and we're going to find another face, the best one maybe of all. ¿Qué hora es? Ya, a las 2 exacto es esta cosa, se nota. Okay. 30 minutes ago, we had just shadow. So in about 15 minutes, 2 p.m., this is going to be perfect. The lips are really well done. Maybe there's a broken nose, but we still see the figure. If you walk alone here, it grabs you in your own silence. You just need to be here and to feel in the second or the third day, your mind changes. No? The light is so important, light and shadow in a place like this, because it arranges the visual effects of our own imagination.
One of the amazing things about doing work out here are all of the different erosive forces that you can see just right here. You see glacial valleys where glaciers long ago carved their way. You also see all these tectonic forces that have created cracks and faults all over. Natural features. We could very well be.
The work I'm doing right now is geo-referencing as many structures as I can, not only in terms of obtaining their location, but also determining the line of sight. One of the things that I'm finding just in the last 3 days, which is surprising even to me, is how many of these structures are aligned directly north or directly south. And I'm talking about with no error. Here, there's such a variety of shapes that it's very easy to ascribe them anthropomorphic or zoomorphic meaning. I would suggest that everybody thinks of this as references rather than actually representing the object that's being described. Here's a helmet over here. I would say this one has probably one of the clearest signs of being worked on. Furthermore, this structure here has a line of sight that's dead on 90 degrees east. Longitude west is 76 degrees. There's no real line of sight to calculate, but I'll get one anyway because it's an apparent eye, which is looking that way. And it's straight northwest, and then I'll take a picture of it. That'll just give it context. My father worked on this plateau for maybe 10 to 15 years, trying to get the same kind of work done using the instrumentation of the time. So in 4 days, thanks to the GPS technology, we'll have done what could not be done in 10 to 15 years previously. The tradition for this rock is that it's really a ship, an ark. Behind the structure, on my right-hand side, there's a structure that represents a man, probably kneeling with a long coat. On my left side, there's another structure that represents a woman with somewhat of a round white face. I have been told directly by one family that there's also a tradition that this was a place that people took refuge in ancient times. I've tried to go deeper into that and try to understand refuge from what, and it's never been clear to me that it was something that was local, something that was temporary, or something that was...
That's awesome. The thing that's impressed me most about this entire expedition has been seeing the huge amount of ruins. We see chulpas, or places where the Andeans would come leave the bones of their dead.
In here you have the tombs. You have so much stone here that you can't really bury people.
You see man-made walls. That's one of the things that really impressed me.
Yeah, I don't know.
By-
I've come across all these walls here that are enclosures that are too small for anything. What are they using for? You can't even put a person, two people in there. You can't even put a cow.
With the bones, chulpas.
No, they're not chulpas.
Well, according to the Ingemet study, again, this place was, even before pre-Inca, was very special for water. Like for me, this right here is one of the most important things. First off, it starts right here, goes around the rock in such a way that it's mirroring this wall that was built here. Off the bat, it does not look natural, and the fact that you've got this very obviously man-made rock wall here to retain this canal that's following a natural fault trace, and it's filled up with this strange sort of cement.
Currently in Peru, cultures that predate the Incas by thousands of years still exist. In fact, we're sitting very near a town called San Pedro de Casta, and I'm sure that that village has been there for thousands of years. My father believed that the culture that sculpted the structures in Marcahuasi was a culture that had been lost to science. Nobody knew who these people were. They left no remains. There are some similarities between the type of monolithic structures in Karnak and Brittany, but nothing else has been found that works only on the stone in situ.
I still think that most of this place was formed, shaped by natural erosive processes. However, having been to Machu Picchu, it's the famous spot. The forms were already there and were already awe-inspiring. And that's what brought people. And people just further built on that awe-inspiring nature. And I think that's what you see here. The ruins, the chulpas, are all of the different canals that are built all over this meseta. I'm very, very excited to see what the data is going to show.
I can't really build a theory on what this place represents. If I had to say something really off the cuff, I'd say it was an artist colony. Artists came here and played with beautiful stone and completed structures that looked like certain things, using light, using shapes. If man interacted with this place, there's a lot of art here.